Hello and welcome back to Between the Pages. I'm your host Grace Randolph, and as you might recall, back in December I had Jessica Boyd on the show to talk about Marvel Now, and we kind of did actually a very in-depth review of the main Marvel Now titles that were coming out, and a lot of you requested a New 52 version. So I'm very happy to present one today with first time on the show, Kristin Hackett. Hello, Kristin.
Hi, Grace.
And Kristin is a comic book reader, fellow comic book reporter. She has Wear Pink on Wednesdays. Wear Pink Wednesdays is her blog, and you can check it out via the link in the video description. Are you a DC or a Marvel?
I kind of flip-flop between the two of them. I had always kind of been a DC girl, and then ever since the Marvel Now came out, I have been reading a bunch of that stuff. But Spider-Man has always been my favorite.
Oh, so. Cool. I can tell.
Yeah.
Right? I flip back and forth, too. I mean, I really kind of read equally from both of the big two. I just enjoy them both. I don't see why people feel they have to pick. But the New 52, let's start off. What are your overall impressions of the New 52? We've had longer with them. We're still in the shock and awe phase with Marvel Now. But I think New 52, we've had time to settle. So what do you just think of it overall?
I think that there have been some really strong standout titles, and there also have been some more like weak titles. So I think it's kind of been a mixed bag when it comes to like overall. It's hard to pick like one word to do it overall. Like the Scott Snyder titles and the Jeff Lemire titles I found have been amazing.
And they're friends.
So good. And then some of the other ones, like, they've gotten canceled. They've already done, I believe, 3 introductions, like 3 new waves of 52. So.
Do you find that you're reading more DC comics, the same, less after the New 52?
I'm probably reading relatively the same amount.
Me too.
I have been reading more back issues, too, and more things in trade. But I'd say it's pretty close.
I'd say it's pretty close for me too. The only big difference is that they've gotten me to try things that I normally wouldn't have tried.
And
I figured that. Right? Yeah. And I like, for instance, bravo for them to be able to launch Sword of Sorcery as a title that I actually enjoy. We're going to talk about that. That's actually our last title because we're going to start with the big guns. Literally, Justice League, right? It's a big seller for them. I don't like it. What do you think of Justice League? I mean, I understand that I'm in the minority. It sells very well. But what are your thoughts on the title?
I do like it. I think that Jim Lee's art has been really good. I know that they recently switched the artist, but I think it's been interesting, and I like that they added Cyborg to the team.
Agreed. You know, it gives a lot of diversity, and I mean, DC doesn't have a lot of diversity as it is. They have a lot of gay and lesbian characters, but in terms of racial diversity, they're very few.
Right.
Do you think that he's well developed? Are you just like having him there? I mean, what do you think of how he's been brought in?
I think they've been doing a good job with him. Because like previously, I'd only really seen him in Teen Titans, so it's interesting to see him dealing with people that are like
the animated show Teen Titans, not even the comic, right?
Right.
That's what you're talking about. Okay, so I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
So it's interesting to see him like interacting with more people his own age and everything instead of being like the leader.
I agree, and they've kind of made him like the techie and also the de facto leader. I think he's kind of filled in the Martian Manhunter role.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Yeah. So you're liking Justice League.
I am.
You're buying it. You enjoy it. Okay, awesome. You are like most of the comic book readers because I think it's like one of their main bestsellers, that and Batman. So it would be too easy to go to Batman, but we're gonna work our way down. And next, Aquaman. I like Aquaman.
I love Aquaman. And I really am very happy that it's very Mera heavy because I think that she's such a great character.
Definitely. And I think I love her power set. And I think that I love that the fact that the comic book embraces, you know, the silly aspects of Aquaman or the potentially silly ones. And I also like Ivan Reis's artwork quite a bit.
Yes, me too. I hadn't read too much Aquaman before the New 52 came out, and when I had read like the first few issues, I was like, wow, this is great. And I like asked my store, I was like, do you have like any more of this? And they were like, to be honest, there's not too much great Aquaman. So
the problems, the pitfalls of the New 52. But that's funny. But I mean, it's easy to catch up then. But you know, we're talking about Aquaman and Justice League. Are you reading the new Throne of Atlantis crossover?
I haven't started reading that yet.
It's pretty good. It is an interesting choice that for their big Justice League crossover, they chose Aquaman.
They're definitely putting a lot of time and effort into developing his character and really like making him more serious.
Right? Yeah.
I like.
Another book that I think has a lot of, you know, surprise behind it, you know, people are surprised they like it, is Wonder Woman.
Yes. I know a lot of people were kind of upset with the fact that now she's Zeus's daughter.
Yes.
Which I didn't mind. I thought that the way that they introduced it was fine, and it was understandable, like, why her mother wouldn't have told her for all this time. But I'm definitely enjoying the title a lot.
My only slight problem is that Wonder Woman isn't really the star of her own book.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a big fan of Greek mythology.
Me too.
Right? So I like seeing the interpretation of the gods, and I like the politics, and I kind of like this new family they've given her. They've taken away the Amazons because they killed them all, and now they've kind of given her like her extended, you know, stepsisters or half-sisters and half-brothers.
And also Cliff's artwork is like to die for.
Oh, definitely. And so different. I mean, I think he draws an attractive Wonder Woman, which is rare. They tend to try and make, like, I had this discussion with a former editor at DC, and he was like, women never like the way Wonder Woman is drawn because they, you know, they focus on like the Amazon part, and I think it doesn't make, I think no one's like, I want to be Wonder Woman when they see that. But I think that she still seems strong and Greek, and she still has, she's not like made cookie cutter. But I agree. I mean, she looks better, and I just like the choices.
Wonder Woman and Batman are like the two that are top of my list.
That's good. A lot of people want them together as it is.
Yeah.
So all right, we can't deny it. Let's go into Batman.
I mainly stick to the main title. Mm-hmm. I have read some of the other ones, and some of them have been good, but they're like, you just can't beat Scott's writing.
Oh no, totally. It's rare for a writer to have so much of his own persona associated with a book, that it's fascinating to watch. I mean, even Bendis, I don't think, is that closely associated with what he's writing.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. He, like, what he's done with The Court of Owls, it's just such, like, a great story. It's definitely going to be one of those ones that is going to be, like, a Batman story that you have to read.
Totally, yeah.
Death of the Family, that Joker is, like, chilling.
Yeah, they've totally, Snyder's reinvented the Joker. And it's been accepted. I mean, that's a gutsy move.
I mean, the arc hasn't completed yet, but I have so much faith in that story that I would say that it could definitely rival, like, Alan Moore's Killing Joke as one of the best Joker stories.
And Joker stories are rare because I think they're hard to do. But let's be honest here. What Batman titles are you not reading? And I will share the few that I'm not. It's like a handful, but which ones aren't you reading?
I'm not really into Batman and Robin.
Oh no, I love Batman and Robin. Why don't you like it? Tell me, this is fascinating. Because someone just wrote me and said they picked it up because I suggested it, and they weren't a huge fan either.
I'm not into Damien's character.
Oh, okay. It's a Damien book, really. It's really Robin.
Exactly. Like, he just, I mean, as Robins go, I love Tim as Robin.
Oh.
And Damien is just, like, he's kind of whiny to me. I know that he's, like, younger and he's a child, so obviously that's to be expected. But I don't know. He's just not doing it for me.
Well, Tim and Damien hate each other, so I can understand that you have to pick a side.
I also wasn't that into Detective Comics.
I do not read that either.
I thought it was okay, but it was... I think I was more just reading it because it was a Batman title, not because I was really enjoying it. But it is, like... I guess it did tie into Scott's Batman because the doll maker is the one that cuts off the Joker's face, which is like in that beginning.
I know. That's all it's contributed.
Exactly.
So is that it? Are there any others? Are you reading Batgirl?
Yes, I am.
Do you like Batgirl? Because I don't like it.
I do like it. I liked the beginning. Like, I liked the first 6 issues very much, and then I didn't love it as much, but now with the death of the family again, I think that Gail's doing a good job of it.
Are you happy that Gail was, like, brought back after being fired? Were you one of those people who were like, bring Gail back?
Yeah, it was also weird how that whole thing happened. I wasn't really sure what to make of it, and then we didn't really have that much time because I feel like within, like, a week, they were like, oh, just kidding, she's back on Batgirl.
Yeah, she really wasn't fired. You know, I mean, there was such a knee-jerk reaction from the fans that, you know, like, it was like you blinked and you missed that Gail Simone was fired from Batgirl.
I like what she does with less well-known characters better than what she's been doing with Batgirl, but I think that she's a great writer, even though this hasn't been one of my favorite things that she's done.
I miss her immensely on Birds of Prey.
Me too.
Yeah, right? I think I'm still picking up Birds of Prey actually only out of allegiance to Gail's run. I'm like, I know it will get better. It has to, you know? I mean, they're shaking up the team. I'm happy about that. I don't read Detective Comics like you. I don't read Legends of the Dark Knight. And and I don't read Batgirl, but I think I pretty much pick up everything else. I really like Batman Inc., but you're not going to like that. Well, do you like that? Because you're not a Damian fan.
I do like it because I like Grant Morrison's writing.
Yeah, he's great. It's hard not to like Grant Morrison. And I like Batman and Robin. And, I find Nightwing, the character's so personable that I read the comic.
I love Nightwing.
Yeah. Well, he's fun, and I think that he's such a soap opera-y character and I like the circus aspect. And he's really blessed with great artists on his title all the time.
Yeah, he is.
I really enjoy it. I don't like Talon, though. What do you think of Talon?
I read the first issue, and I thought it was a little bit wordy. So I haven't picked up the rest of it yet. I thought that I would possibly wait until it's in trade.
I mean, I kind of like the idea of continuing Court of Owls, especially because it was such a great story. But he just, as I've said before on the show, I feel it's too much like Nightwing. That's what made me bring it up. I think all the Robins are pretty awesome, and they're all distinct, even though they all kind of look the same.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on to another tough area that Scott Snyder will soon be entering, and that is the Superman universe. What are your thoughts? Because Superman Action Comics sells.
Action Comics I really like.
Oh, good. Okay, that's great. We disagree on this. Why do you like Action Comics?
That I thought was a great story. Like, in the beginning, I really liked how they had initially captured Clark, and Lex is working with somebody, working with Brainiac, and so I like that they tied that in right away, and I like that Lois is there. I like that Jimmy's there. I like that Clark's landlady finds out right away that he's Superman. I just think it's a very personable story.
I agree on some parts. I mean, I do like the way they updated Clark Kent, I guess I would say. I feel that making him like a blogger and, anti-establishment, considering his Midwestern farm boy, kind of roots and what he's trying to do as Superman, makes sense. And I think they do a good job kind of making him not look like Superman when he's Clark Kent. He changes his hair.
And he's humorous. When the police come in and they're interrogating him, and he's like, "Do I look strong?"
Yeah.
He has,
that was good.
Sweatshirt.
I like that. But I prefer still Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman. That's still my favorite Grant Morrison Superman. But I stopped reading Action Comics, I think, because, I don't know, I'm a Superman purist. I'll admit it. And I think a lot of people who watch my show here and Beyond the Trailer suspect that. But I mean, I'm still open to change, but I think not quite as much as other readers like yourself. Are you reading the other Superman titles?
I tried to read the Superman, just Superman title, and that I thought was kind of boring. That didn't hold me.
I agree. What do you think of Supergirl?
The title is really underrated. In the beginning, how she had that whole language barrier, and then there's this one issue where her and Clark are standing there, and she's finding out that her whole world has been destroyed, and it's just heartbreaking.
You should take a second look at that. So you like Supergirl? Oh, good. Okay. And what do you think of Superboy? I liked it at the beginning, but I dropped it.
Yeah, I dropped it too. He wasn't doing it for me.
I mean, I liked making him the darker Superman because he has the Lex Luthor blood in him, the DNA, so that made sense to me. But I feel it wasn't. I liked what was going on in the title quite a bit. I just felt that it wasn't going anywhere. That's why I think I stopped it. Maybe because I think it was trying too hard to tie in with Teen Titans. I liked it when it was its own universe. So let's go into another area. I have to say, I only read pockets of DC. Do you read Green Lantern?
I do. I like Green Lantern too.
Oh, good. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so what do you think of, I only read the main Green Lantern title, and even that, I've never read Green Lantern before. I really only read Blackest Night, which I loved. I loved Blackest Night. It made me a Green Lantern fan. So I kind of only read it when it reminds me of that. So as a Green Lantern fan, what do you think of the New 52 and the way they've divided up the titles?
I haven't read it. I haven't read the divisions. I've really just read the main title too. But I do want to read more about Sinestro because I really like his character. I like how they changed him now and he's back to being Green Lantern again.
I agree. And I think he's cool in what I have read of that main Green Lantern title, and I love the art.
Me too.
Doug Mank is
anything in space. I love.
Now I'm starting to get your Supergirl. Interest. Okay, cool. So I think that Doug Mank is great. I think Jeff Johns works particularly well with some artists. So him and Ivan Reis, I would say, really good. So let's go to a very, very controversial title, Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
We're both like, who's going first on this title?
I don't like it.
Oh, really? I'm still reading it. I kind of like it.
Really?
I go back and forth. I like the reinvention of Amanda Waller. I'm iffy on the reinvention of Harley Quinn, but
yeah, that's my main thing with it. Like initially, even before reading anything, just when I saw how Harley looked, I was like, how is that shirt even staying up?
I know. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that it becomes somewhat unoffensive because it's just that ridiculous. It does look like a bad Halloween costume. I really dislike the reinvention.
Me too.
And I also I feel like it doesn't get Harley.
Yeah, I think so too. And in the beginning, like they tried to do that zombie story. To me, it just kind of seemed like they were trying to like pick up an audience of like Walking Dead people.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. I fall in and out of love with Suicide Squad. It's still on my radar, and I will pick it up if the cover interests me. All right, here's another one. Very interesting. Tell me what you think of this. The Swamp Thing, Animal Man kind of combo.
I love it. Jeff
and
Scott are two of my favorite writers, so to like see them working together, it just makes me so happy.
Well, I'm interested. Tell me how you think it's been holding up, because I was really enjoying it for like the first couple, I would say maybe 6 or 7 issues, right until they got up to about the 0 issue, and then it got a combination of too gross for me, and then also I kind of could not understand the red and the green and the black. That kind of like threw me off. So do you feel the story's holding up? Should I get back into it?
I think it has been very complicated, but I think they said that Scott's actually, did they say he's not going to be doing
he's leaving Swamp Thing, yeah.
So I don't know how much longer I would read it if he's not doing it.
Oh, really? Interesting. So it's Scott Snyder's was keeping you on that title.
Yes.
Okay.
But Animal Man, I've really liked. He's kind of, I mean, besides like Grant Morrison, I feel like there hasn't been too much of him out there that's been like really well written, and like what Jeff is doing with him. I think it's interesting, like with his daughter.
I love that aspect. Yeah.
So that I do like, and that I'm going to keep reading.
What if Lemire leaves too? Oh, I mean, but also the titles are so interconnected. Do you think you could stop reading Swamp Thing even if Snyder leaves?
I think that you can read one title or the other without having to read both. I do think it adds to it, like if you do read the both of them, but I don't think that it's definitely necessary.
The last title we're really going to focus on in depth is Sword of Sorcery. Are you reading it?
I am.
Me too!
I was so excited when they were coming out with it. When that 0 issue came out, I was like, I'll be the first one buying that.
I totally have to agree with you. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, seriously? Is anyone going to buy this? But like, I think the female comic book reader in me was like, I have to try it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did. I don't think it's overly girly, do you?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were like kind of apprehensive about it after the 0 issue because they had that whole like insinuated rape scene.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of controversial, but once she like returns to Gem World in the first issue and starts like learning about her past and there's still like elements from Earth, I think it's been a really great title.
It's kind of like Game of Thrones a little bit with like, I think like the intrigue, the royal intrigue and the houses, the different families. I think that's kind of cool. And I can see that like the Diamond family is going to have like that male characters are going to become more important. And also John Constantine, and they're going to make her a member, I think, or if they might have already, Justice League Dark. So,
really?
Yeah, so I think it'll be cool to see if they can pull Amethyst into like the main DC universe, which would be an incredible feat.
Yeah, that would be really exciting.
So we'll end this with, if someone's a new reader, we have a lot of new readers on the show, what area would you recommend someone without a doubt go to in the New 52 when they go to the comic book store?
Definitely Batman. And I would also say definitely like Green Lantern and Aquaman.
I would agree with you on that entirely. And I would say, don't be afraid to sample things. But I think Batman's definitely where the action is in the New 52.